Aloha and welcome to La Puerta Beauty School, doing a little full moon and Taurus report with Erin and Veruschka, checking in
Alright.
on the astro and emotional energy radar.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be pulling a card here from Hawaii, where this beautiful sacred geometry oracle
Oh,
deck
that's
was
pretty.
created. So welcome, Erin. You
Thank
want to
you.
come in and what's shaken?
I'm happy to be here talking with you as always and just feeling into the energies of this moon, which I think are pretty big, and doing my thing, being a mom and a regular old person.
So, what do you want to share about, like, what are these themes about?
Well, the thing that I see the most with this moon and that I keep going back to and looking at is Venus. Um, what did you just get? Oh,
Triangle. I've never, I mean, it is a sacred geometry deck, but I literally have never seen the triangle. And Venus has been front and center in the sky every night after sunset here in Hawaii. It's like so gorgeous. It's so
so
bright.
pretty, so pretty. And that's the thing I like to always encourage everyone to do is um, go look at, Venus right now or any of the planets or stars that like just if you can make a practice of just looking at her, once a night or maybe just for 10 minutes, make that your meditation. You start to open up a communication and form your own relationship with the planets. And it's a really beautiful thing. But for this moon, it's interesting because this is the last full moon that we'll have with Pluto in Capricorn. So, and Pluto's at the very last degree of Capricorn. So that is, it's a tough spot. It's almost like we've been trudging along with the same theme for what, 12, 14 years now, since 2008. And this is like all together now, everybody, let's just like throw off these chains, right? That's kind of how it feels to me. And that the moon, a full moon, is a release, but it's also a harvest, that the point of time before the moon becomes full, uh you can I like to think of it as harvesting or reaping the benefits of everything I've done last cycle. And this one's so big because it's the last one with Pluto and Capricorn. I just feel like it goes back farther than just like 6 months or however long, your full moon cycle is. So so this is about getting the benefits of what we've been going through, with all these like the toxicity we're witnessing with power structures is really what Pluto and Capricorn has been exposing, and just throwing it off. A full moon is an opposition where you get to throw something off. And this is Taurus. This full moon will be in Taurus, which is Venus ruled, which is why I say Venus. And at the same time, she is squaring the nodes of the moon. So there's the full moon in Taurus. So that's about Venus related themes, your relationship to yourself, your self worth, physical things like money and resources, and um, Venus ruling that from Capricorn is going to make it very practical because Venus is in Capricorn, an earth sign, and the full moon is also an earth sign. So this is like, to me, this smacks of money and resources within relationship. And Venus squaring the nodes, she's kind of putting up uh, it could be a roadblock or just like a hard decision you have to make about wherever Venus is falling in your chart, and also related to where the moon is falling in your chart. But and the nodes being in Aries and Libra is the push and pull between who am I and then who am I in relationship. And so I kind of feel like we're being asked to throw off how we show up in relationship that we've known for a long time has been, toxic, for lack of a better word, or just not serving us. I think that's what this is really a final kind of push about, and then a step towards freedom in Aries, where the North Node is. So that's why I look to Venus, not because she's ruling the moon, and B, she's squaring the nodes of the moon.
Wow.
So she's pretty well highlighted there.
I have to ask, personally, my Venus is in the 12th house. what
Mm.
Cancer, but how would you imagine a roadblock being in the 12th house of Venus? Is that like your relationship to what you're believe in or devotion?
It could be relationship to the invisible world. It could be relationship to spirit. 12th house is all the other signs all combined into like that's a completion. It could be a relationship to your karma, relationship to completion. And the 12th house is very mysterious, so it's even hard for me to describe like, what that might be, but those are the first things that kind of come to my mind.
Because when I think of roadblock to that, I'm like, does that make it feel like I'm not having faith or not believing what I believed before, or
It
having
could be that the roadblock itself is invisible because what happens in the 12th house often we don't see.
Ah.
Subconscious. This could be a subconscious roadblock for
You
you.
know, what's so interesting is most the cards I've been pulling for like this 1111 portal is the consistent thing has been perspective. Like
Mm.
changing your perspective. Like, what is the old story always been in relationship? For me, it's always been in relationship to where am I living, in Hawaii or the mainland, or in relationship,
Ah.
where do I want my things? Should I ship them there? Should I come here? Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's this like, and I always have this all or nothing, or so it's just interesting how I am someone who's really into mindset and change your mind.
Mm-hmm.
But that's also, I feel like I'm getting a big lesson in like continuing to surrender, release my stories. Even if I'm open to the full spectrum, I feel like there's something still I'm not seeing that I'm having to release. And it's again, just that trust game.
It's trust and believing in the magic and
Yeah.
the
And
work that
look,
you do.
this is so relevant because the triangle is also alchemy, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
creation, right? So let me just
Mm-hmm.
read this is the collective card pull for this full
Mm-hmm.
moon from Francine Hart, and it's the Trinity. Many things come in threes: beginning, middle, end, mother, father, child. Cosmologies of many world cultures view existence as having three levels. They teach us to access our lower selves through our connection with Mother Earth. Next is the quest to know our middle selves in the physical form. Finally, we communicate with our higher self, seen as coming from beyond, often from Father, Sun, or the stars. This synthesis of body, mind, and spirit brings balance, strength, and completion to our human experience. Drawing this card denotes movement towards strength and completion. You're moving on a life path that puts you in touch with the synthesis of the elements of growth, joy, and freedom. Wherever you are on that path, take a moment to acknowledge the progress you're making and renew your resolve to act in accordance with that which strengthens and assists you in enjoying and fulfilling your life's purpose.
That's
Wow,
beautiful.
that rings a bell.
It sure does. I like the triangle. It's like the Holy Trinity.
Yeah.
And what you were saying about perspective, it is also very active and resonant with the chart that's going on with the full moon too. With Mercury and you had mentioned Mercury before, but Mercury opposite Jupiter right now, and they're in each other's signs, which creates a mutual reception. They're kind of, it's a flowy energy. It's kind of separate from everything I was already talking about with the full moon, but that's your thinking mind working in sync with your like higher mind, your intuition, and your just direct knowing. Also can show up in your life as travel, which you're kind of mentioning there too.
Yeah,
Right.
I think everything is denoting, and I feel like this is collective, is just be ready for the unexpected and
Mm-hmm.
personal change. Like
Really.
sometimes when we pray for them, oh my gosh, I just I just shuffled the whole deck again and wanted a
What?
personal card, and I got the same one. This happens to me so many times.
It's the triangle.
Yeah, it's like, yes, jump in the center and surrender.
There's
I'm
a triangle going on in the full moon chart too. Do you see it? It's a grand trine.
Yeah.
So that is Sun trining Neptune and then trining Mars, which is kind of, that's a little out of orb, I would say. I don't completely.
And what's Neptune in?
Neptune is in Pisces.
Oh, interesting.
And he's kind of the boss of the whole thing. Like if you track back the rulerships, it all goes back to Neptune. And that looks like grace, it's kind of that remembrance of whatever the drama is, that all this is all like the drama. Neptune's kind of like you can come on up out of there and just watch it like a movie kind of thing. So yeah, be ready for anything, have fun with what's going on, or don't. I like to say enjoy, try to sink into the bad or hard times as much as you are the good times, but realize, like, from a Neptune perspective, it's that none of that is you. None of the astrology, the full moon, none of this stuff is really you. It's kind of the play that we're participating in right now. So
Well, like along with the changing perspectives, I feel like for me it means things that I'd never even conceived about, like you saying just what observing from above. Um, like the post that you made and many people have shared about the Bushmen talking about listening to the stars, like, oh, the white man can't hear the stars. You mean you can't hear the stars? And
right,
that's not even on our palette of possibilities,
right,
this whole concept. And, you've probably experienced before, like, oh, I feel like going outside right now. I don't know why. And then you see something incredible. Like this morning,
yeah,
I felt like going just look at the coastline for no reason. And I go out and I saw in the horizon, it's raining way out in the distance. And I saw a white rainbow, which the Hawaiians consider the most sacred rainbow. And guess what? It was only there for a minute, but my body was called to go.
yeah,
So even though I'm not hearing it, I'm following my body. So I feel like we are
yeah,
going um, from bypassing the normal ways of connection and communication to new ways. And it's so important, with the work I do around listening to the body. Or, we might have a positive mindset, but why are we still going through so much crap and challenges? Because the body keeps the score and we still have trauma that's only now maybe being safe to come out to the surface. And so we judge ourselves that, like, why aren't we more evolved, or haven't I worked on this already?
yeah,
Blah, blah, blah. But we are carrying so much compressed trauma that
yeah,
only what I call it's thawing, what we
yeah,
absorb from our caregivers that we grew up with. Like, we were feeling and mimicking all their unresolved pain. So maybe it is nonverbal, but this is about honoring the body. And that's why, whether the solar flares, we're receiving more light. So the density is coming up and requiring more self-care, more rest. Like, don't judge it if you're sleeping. Don't judge it if you're needing to nap. Like, your body is actually communicating with you, and honoring it is actually going to propel us forward.
yes. And just keeping on with the work, the clearing work, like the tapping and somatic work is amazing
Yeah.
to me. Yeah.
So if you're needing, we're going to have to wrap this up right now, but if you're needing to work on some stuff, this is an excellent time in the triangle to jump through the center into the void, to surrender to your unique creation. And Erin's available.
For readings, you can contact me on Facebook, Erin Z.
We'll have the
I can
information
put a link,
below.
or I could put a link below too. Yeah.
Yeah, and you are on Substack
And I
giving
have
your
my Substack.
readings. And
Yes.
join our community on Facebook, La Puerta Beauty School, where we're always sharing little tidbits that are helpful in changing our mindset and informing ourselves of collective energies. So it's time to move out of the fear and trauma to really harness anchoring heaven on earth. And so glad, Erin, you're in on this ride with me and all of us.
Me too. Me too.
All right, you guys have an awesome full moon. Drop in the comments what you're releasing and what you're calling in.
Yes, thank you so much.